Hey guys, before we get started, I'd like to share something with you. According to YouTube, 99.9% of my channel viewers aren't subscribed yet, so please help me reach 10,000 subs before the end of this year, and thank you. Chapter 1. In the opening shot, Adele, a young teenager living in Lille, France, is seen leaving her house in the morning to grab a bus and the subway to get to school. In class, they are reading The Life of Marianne. The teacher speaks about chance encounters and how love at first sight can affect us. One boy says it would make him feel regret for not trying to talk to the other person. Adele listens to all the discussion impassively. During lunch with her friends, they gush about sex while Adele just listens. A boy named Thomas looks at Adele and smiles. Her girlfriends tell her that it is obvious that he's into her, and she should do something about it, forcing her to take a look at him. But Adele doesn't seem to be very interested in him. She's actually quite detached. That evening at home, Adele has dinner with her parents and discusses her day. She later writes in her diary and then goes to sleep. The next day, Adele gets on the bus where Thomas joins her. They start a conversation, and Adele begins to loosen up. She learns Thomas is a senior and that he hopes to study music later in life at a university. They begin to talk about music. Adele says she loves all kinds but hard rock, as she stereotypes it as men with long hair who scream into microphones. Thomas laughs and says they apparently have a problem because he happens to like that kind of music. However, maybe it will give them an excuse to hang out again someday soon, as Adele notes. Maybe the stuff he loves is different than her preconceived notions. Later, on a different day, Adele about to cross the road when she sees a woman with blue-colored hair with her arms around another woman. As people cross the streets, Adele turns her head to look at the woman, who in turn turns her head and smiles at Adele. Adele is stunned to feel a connection to a woman she has never met. Adele then meets Thomas in order to hang out. They get lunch and talk about the book Adele is reading for class, The Life of Marianne. Adele notes she hates when teachers overanalyze the book for her, thus taking away all the mystery and suspense. Thomas admits he hasn't read too many books, but loved reading Dangerous Liaisons in class, since his professor was able to break down things he missed. Thomas promises to read The Life of Marianne for her, as he is completely enamored with Adele. Thomas and Adele go to the movies. Thomas goes to hold her hand and kiss her neck and mouth. Adele lets him a little, but her heart isn't into it. That night, as she sleeps, Adele begins to dream of the blue-haired woman touching and kissing her. Adele begins to masturbate in her sleep, touching her breasts and genitals, breathing deep. In the middle of it all, she wakes up startled. She can't believe what she was feeling. The next day, her friends want details in regards to Thomas, thinking the two slept together. Adele denies that they did and finally leaves when she gets tired of their questions. Thomas follows into the school and asks if he did something wrong, or that he went too fast because he really likes her. Adele, desperately wanting to try and be normal with a boy who likes her, kisses him back. In the next scene, Adele and Thomas are seen in his bedroom, and both of them are naked. They begin to have sex, which is apparently Adele's first time ever. As they get into it, Adele seems to enjoy it quite a bit. When it is over, however, Adele has a distant, detached look on her face. Perhaps, despite her desire to just be a normal girl who likes boys, it isn't enough. Or rather, it is not the right thing for her. Thomas asks her if she is okay, and if the sex was good. Adele says that is was and kisses him. She lets him hold her. Adele talks to her gay friend Valentin about unhappy she is with Thomas, because she feels as if she needs to fake it. She also notes she looks awful and Thomas would break up with her on that alone. She and Valentin joke about how this will be how her relationship ends. However, this gives her only a respite from reality. She will have to face him soon enough. Adele smokes a cigarette at school before going to meet Thomas. In the next shot, Adele and Thomas are sitting on a school bench. Adele has told him that it isn't working for her, but she never meant to hurt him. Thomas is visibly upset, but he lets their relationship end without any objections. He then leaves. At home later that night, Adele cries on her bed. She is confused over her emotions and feels awful that she hurt a boy that only liked her and did her no harm. Adele is now at a low point of her young life. Later, Adele joins her friends during a student protest in the streets. She lets herself get caught up in it, so she can forget her problems for a while. At school, Adele sits in a stairwell and smokes a cigarette. A young woman from her group of friends sits down next to her and bums a light from her. As another girl passes, the woman comments that the girl has a nice ass. Adele scoffs at the comment, and the young woman says she thinks Adele is the cutest girl in their year. Adele blushes, and the young woman tilts Adele's face her way and kisses her on the lips to Adele's surprise. At dinner that night, Adele's mother notices a chance in her daughter, noting that she apparently had a good day. Adele just smiles. The next day at school after class, Adele tracks the girl down in the ladies' restroom, and when no one is around starts to kiss her. The girl, however, does not respond to it. The girl then tells Adele that she didn't mean for her to get addicted to it, and her kissing Adele was just some harmless fun, making it clear she wanted nothing more. However, she tells Adele that nothing will change with them, and she will not tell their other friends, keeping her secret. Adele is crushed, thinking she found a potential partner. Ignoring most of her gal pals, Adele grabs Valentin and asks to go out with him that night. Valentin takes her to a gay club, where Adele watches gay men dance and kiss. She is bewildered by it all but also sad, because she doesn't have that type of connection in her own life. Seeing a woman that looks like the blue-haired girl she saw on the street, Adele leaves the club, following the group of women to another bar. When she gets there, she realizes it is a lesbian bar. She gets a few looks, and some of the women flirt with her. Adele is a bit embarrassed by the attention and goes up to the bar and orders a beer. Looking up to the loft area, she sees the very same blue-haired woman from that day. The woman sees her too and grins. The woman comes down and, after deflecting another woman from talking to Adele, begins to chat with her. The blue-haired woman introduces herself as Emma. Emma tells Adele that it is obvious that she is new to the scene, given that she ordered a bulldog, which a dyke beer. Emma gives her a taste of her strawberry milk drink, to which Adele admits she finds gross. Emma tells Adele they don't get too many of her type in the bar. Adele asks what type she is. Emma says the underage type. Adele asks about what Emma does for a living, and Emma replies she is 22 years old, and is in her 4th year of college, studying fine arts. They have a discussion of the various types of art, and if there is such a thing as bad art. Adele meanwhile admits she is still in high school, as well as her real age of being only 16 years old. Emma's friends walk up and tell her they are going to another club and want her to come. Emma introduces Adele as her cousin to them. Emma then leaves, but not before getting Adele to tell her the name of her high school that she attends. The next day, as school lets out, Adele is with her group of friends when she sees Emma waiting for her. Adele goes to her, ignoring all the calls of her friends. Emma invites Adele to come and get a drink with her. Only Valentin realizes what is really going on and watches silently as the two girls walk away. Adele and Emma sit on a park bench. Emma is sketching her. Emma asks if she feels embarrassed, and Adele admits she does a little, as it isn't every day that she is sketched. The two talk a bit about philosophy and Sartre. Emma discusses how she agrees with Sartre ideals of choosing your own path in life without any higher principles, as it helped her decide what she wants out of life. Adele compares the ideals to that of Bob Marley, and how the two were both committed in their principles and ideas. Emma shows her the final product, which she admits needs work. Adele says it is beautiful. Emma then says she needs to leave and meet her girlfriend Sabine. Adele gives Emma her number. As they stand up to leave, Emma stares at Adele for a long time, and moves closer as if to kiss her. Emma kisses Adele's cheek and leaves, leaving Adele feeling happy. When Adele gets home later, her mother tells her a friend, Emma, is on the phone. Adele rushes up and takes the call like a nervous schoolgirl talking to her crush. The next day, Adele is quickly and decisively confronted by her group of friends. They want to know about Emma and why Adele is hanging around with an obvious dyke. Adele tries to deflect their questioning, saying Emma is just a friend. However, the third degree continues and turns very ugly. They ask about her going with Valentin to a gay club, which she tries to deny. then must admit is true when Valentin confirms it. It is here when things go from bad to worse. They begin to ask Adele if she is a lesbian and pretend to say that they don't care if she is, but they want her to admit it. One of her friends gets very mean, saying they slept together in the same bed naked, and she wants to know if Adele ever wanted her. One of the girls finally takes it too far by asking if Adele has tasted Emma's blue pussy. That sets Adele off and she attacks the girl, having to be pulled off by Valentin. Valentin pulls Adele away from the girls, saying they know nothing as the girls scream at her. One of girls of the group tells the others they took it way too far. They meant to ask politely, and they ended up verbally abusing Adele. Adele is in class having trouble concentrating on her studies. She is visibly upset and depressed about what happened between her and her friends. Some time later, we see Emma and Adele at an art gallery taking in all the paintings and sculptures. Later, they have a small picnic on a blanket in a park and discuss the art and life, over smoking cigarettes and drinking wine from small bottles. Adele asks when Emma first kissed a girl. Emma tells her she was 14. Adele and Emma look into each other's eyes for a long time. Then, Adele gets closer to Emma and kisses her. Emma returns it. After a few moments, they break away and smile at each other. In the next scene, Adele and Emma are in bed in presumably Emma's apartment. They are both naked and about to have sex for the first time. We watch Adele and Emma make love in a very, very explicit. They take turns coupling and orally pleasuring each other. When it is over, they lay in bed side by side. As Emma falls asleep, Adele has tears in her eyes which roll down her face. As she gently strokes Emma's naked body, she finally has found a sexual connection that satisfies her body and her emotions. Some months later, Adele and Emma are seen at a gay parade together. After a while, Adele loosens up and is happy, seeing other same-sex couples show public displays of affection. Adele kisses Emma publicly and walks down the street with her hand in hand. For the first time in her life, Adele feels free to be herself. In the next shot, Adele and Emma are passionately kissing each other on the very same park bench they sat at when Emma sketched Adele. They are both very happy. Another several months later, Adele and Emma are going to meet Emma's parents for dinner. Adele brings a plant as a gift. When they get there, Adele is introduced to Catherine, Emma's mother, and Vincent, Emma's stepfather. They are aware of Emma's sexuality and have no qualms with it, and openly support and love their daughter and her romance with Adele. They ask about Adele's plan after school, and she says she wants to go into teaching, as her learning impacted her life for the better. Vincent and Catherine applaud her choice, while at the same time, loving the fact that Emma is in art, despite its hardships. We see Adele and Emma having sex again in Emma's bedroom. Adele arrives home some time later, but doesn't find her parents. She goes outside to the backyard to see that they threw her a surprise birthday party with all her school friends for her 18th birthday, as well as her upcoming graduation from school. She is happy as they sing her a song. They eat and dance, but Adele basically dances alone, since she is not comfortable enough to be fully out with everyone, including her parents. Thus, she cannot dance with Emma. Adele brings Emma home to have dinner with her parents one night. However, her working class and conservative parents are clueless about their daughter's sexuality and believe that Emma is just a friend that helped Adele understand philosophy better. It is clear that Emma is hurt that Adele is lying to her folks about her, but understands why and goes along with it for her sake. Adele's parents ask about what Emma does and mentions she works in art. Adele's father says it must be hard to make a living, and Emma admits that is true. So she is a graphic artist on the side to pay the bills. Adele's parents ask if she has a boyfriend, and Emma lies and says she does, but she is in no rush to get married. Adele's parents laugh and say she shouldn't rush. Adele and Emma share a knowing look. In the next scene, Adele and Emma lay naked in Adele's bed making love again. When they are finished, they laugh about the fact that Adele's mother thinks Emma is sleeping in the air mattress nearby. Emma jokingly asks Adele if she is enjoying her philosophy lessons and gives her a grade in the subject. They giggle at their little secret and kiss. Emma tells Adele that she loves her. Overjoyed, Adele tells Emma that she loves her too. Chapter 2. The film reopens 4 or 5 years later. We see Emma sketch Adele as she lays out nude on a sofa with a cigarette dangling from her mouth. Emma's hair is now dyed blonde. Adele and Emma live together like a committed couple. We see the first of many days of Adele as a teacher for preschool-age children. She seems to love her job. Her male colleagues ask if she wants to go out with a few others for a drink. Adele declines, saying she has plans. Adele says that she is having a family dinner. The co-worker accepts that, but says that if she never wants to hang out after work, to let him know. Emma is having an art showing of her work at her and Adele's apartment. Adele spends the day making the food and making sure they have enough of everything for the guests. A majority of the guests are from Emma's art crowd, which makes Adele uncomfortable as the social and intelligence gap between them bothers her. Thus, she tries to busy herself most of the time, so she doesn't have to talk to anybody and feel dumb. However, one man named Samir manages to convince Adele to sit down and talk. Samir tells her he acts in movies, usually as a stereotypical Arab terrorist, and has been to New York City several times. Adele admits she wants to go to New York and see America, but hasn't had time. Samir says she should, as it would change her look on life. Samir asks about Adele liking women, and Adele admits to him that she and Emma are a couple, and this has been her first real romantic relationship with a woman. Samir acts supportive, already knowing that Emma is a lesbian. However, despite this nice conversation with Samir, Adele is unable to talk to anyone else at the party. Also, she cannot be helped notice that Emma has been very close to another woman, the pregnant Liz, who Emma introduced to her earlier. Adele begins to think that maybe Emma is pulling away from her. Adele cleans up after the party, then heads to bed, where Emma is waiting. Emma says she thinks Adele should do more with her writing, because it is so good. Adele, however, says she only writes in her diary, and she doesn't know how to convey her voice in fiction. Plus, she has no desire to write. Her passion is in teaching. Emma speaks of life being about creating things, building things that matter, while Adele is more concerned with just being happy. She finds her fulfillment in being with Emma. Adele wants to make love, but Emma says they can't because she is on her period. Adele is a little skeptical given the time of month, but just lets it go. Adele asks about Liz. Emma tells her that Liz isn't an ex-girlfriend or anything, but is just another painter like she is. In the next scene, Adele is at work again watching the kids have their nap time. When she gets home, there is a message on the answer machine from Emma, saying she is working late with Liz and Adele shouldn't wait up. Deciding not to stay at home like usual, Adele decides to go out and get drinks with her coworkers, including the male one that kept asking. They drink and decide to dance. Adele loosens up and seductively dances with the man. Eventually, she kisses him passionately. A combination of feeling neglected by Emma, wanting a connection, and perhaps wondering if she is fully gay, has led Adele to cheat. The next morning, Adele listens while Emma is on the phone. Apparently, Emma is having trouble with a potential buyer who wants every detail about Emma, including her sex life, in order to fully articulate her paintings. Emma tells the person on the phone she will reveal some things, but some things are to be left private. As Emma hangs up, Adele tells her it is normal to feel tense at times about revealing her sexuality to strangers. Back at school, it is clear that Adele's head isn't fully in her teaching, as she is feeling some guilt about kissing her co-worker, apparently going out with him again. She is given a ride home by him one night. She kisses him goodbye, then pretends to head into another apartment complex before going to her real apartment. Emma is waiting for her, tense and not happy. Adele goes up to her acting like nothing is wrong, and that's when the trouble begins. Emma asks who dropped her off. Adele first says a female colleague. She went out with co-workers and has decided to not be out with them. However, Emma knows it was a man, so Adele is forced to change her story. Emma then reveals that she saw Adele kiss him. Emma screams at her, asking how many times she slept with the man. Adele initially denies it, but Emma keeps going on, asking how long she has been lying to her. Adele finally breaks down, saying she indeed slept with the male colleague a few times, but it meant nothing. She just felt so alone and Emma was pulling away from her and wouldn't talk to her. Having heard this admission makes Emma completely explode, and she calls Adele a slut and tells her to get out, throwing clothes in a suitcase. Adele pleads to let her talk about what happened, but Emma won't hear it and throws her out, saying that they are through. Adele finally leaves and walks down the street into the night, completely heartbroken and sobbing uncontrollably. Adele is back at school teaching and participating in a school stage event. Better hearted, isn't it? At the end of the term, she hugs her kids goodbye. When they leave, she breaks down crying in the empty classroom. Some months later, during a summer trip with some of her students, Adele plays with the kids on the beach, asking for another teacher to cover for her for a few minutes. Adele goes to take a swim in the sea. She pauses offshore and floats on the water. The water's color is blue, like Emma's hair. Another few months later, Adele is in class during a new school year, teaching dictation of sentences to a new group of first graders. In the next scene, Adele is at the same park bench where she and Emma spent time together. She lies down and closes her eyes. Adele is next seen in a seedy room of a flophouse where she now lives alone. She cries herself to sleep seemingly every night. One night as she sleeps, she jolts awake after a supposed nightmare. Looking disheveled and fatigued, she sits up awake, chain smoking and looking emotionally empty and desolate. Another year or two later, Adele meets with Emma in a coffee shop. They tenderly embrace and go to sit down to catch up. Adele is still teaching at her elementary school, and Emma is still doing art and has a few new shows coming up. Adele says she wants to save up and buy a painting of hers. Emma says she will give her one for free, but Adele says it is a point of principle to pay for it, to which Emma nods. Emma reveals she has been in a relationship with Liz for several years, and has become a second mother to Liz's 3-year-old daughter. Adele reveals that she hasn't been in any relationship since their breakup. Emma says that her home life with Liz is intellectually stimulating. Adele asks about their sex life and Emma admits it isn't like the one she had with Adele. Adele says it must be boring. Adele says she misses Emma and that she wants her. Adele slowly starts to kiss Emma's hand. When Emma doesn't respond right away, Adele tells her to touch her and forces Emma to kiss her. Emma, clearly still attracted to Adele to some capacity, gives in to the advances. The two kiss and caress each other longingly for a few moments, but Emma pulls away. Ashamed, Adele apologizes and asks if she will see Emma again. To her dismay, Emma says no. She has a family now and she can't risk it. Adele asks if Emma still loves her. Emma says that she doesn't, but she has infinite tenderness for Adele and will remember their times together for the rest of her life. Adele, though heartbroken, understands and tells Emma she can leave. They embrace passionately. As Emma leaves, Adele breaks down in tears. The next scene shows Adele back in her classroom teaching reading and writing to her young first-grade students. Adele now wears eyeglasses and styles her long hair in a more traditional manner to make herself look older. She still appears to function well as a teacher, but now appears to be emotionally empty and unattached to anyone or anything. Later, Adele showers, puts on makeup as well as a bright blue dress, and leaves her small apartment where she now lives to walk a few blocks to an art gallery. It is a showing of Emma's work, and she has been invited for a noon showing. The two old lovers greet each other and Adele thanks Emma for inviting her. Adele looks at all the pieces, and is both startled and surprised to learn that she is still a muse for Emma, showing up still even in her new works. Adele quickly becomes uncomfortable seeing her former lover, Emma, with her new lover, Liz, who is also in attendance. Although Emma acknowledges Adele, her attention is primarily on the gallery's other guests and her current partner. Adele bumps into Samir and finds out he got out of acting and is now in real estate. Samir admits that this art gallery isn't his scene either. As Samir excuses himself to talk to someone, Adele looks around and realizes a few things. One is that the incompatibility of their intellectual circles and their personal desires for life doomed her and Emma's romance long before infidelity entered the picture. Secondly, that this world of Emma's isn't a part of Adele's anymore. She and Emma are no longer together. That chapter of her life is closed. As terrifying as it will be, Adele realizes that she needs to move on with her life completely away from Emma. Without saying another word to anyone, Adele quietly leaves the gallery and walks home. Samir notices she is missing and looks outside to find her, but he misses her going around the corner and gives up his search. In the final shot, Adele is walking down the street alone towards her home. Adele clearly knows that this part of her life journey is over, and now she must write the next chapter of her life.